I wanted to review something else today, so I just reviewed the season finale of Mandalorian. Now I'm going to review something I watched during this past couple of weeks, and that's The Flight Attendant, which just wrapped on HBO. Now, if you haven't watched this, there are reasons to watch this. Kaylee Cuoco, who plays the flight attendant Cassandra in this, she's fantastic. Now, on Big Bang Theory as Penny, there's a limit of things she can do. She's the airhead. She's a very stereotypical character, and you get the feeling that it was time to wrap up the series when Jim Parsons said, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing this anymore." And he was the reason that the show ended. And after watching The Flight Attendant, I think it was the best thing for her career. I do. There's already been an announcement of a renewal for season 2, which at first I thought, well, how do you do a season 2? But now I kind of get it. So if you haven't watched it, watch it. And if you don't want to see spoilers, now's a good time to click away, because there's going to be spoilers. All right, you ready? And if you hear running water, that's the cat's water fountain. Because of course I have a water fountain for the cats, because why not spoil cats? It's what I'm all about. That's why I have so many cats. But not that they're here. They don't seem to remember it's their turn in this room. They're actually sleeping in the other room. So nothing I can do. I'm not just gonna bring them in here to throw them up on this one. So, anyways, so if you don't want to hear spoilers, look away. If you're not worried about spoilers, by all means, keep watching. I thought that the idea that this series was really about, I mean, it's a murder mystery, and who killed Alex, and you know, how's she gonna get away with this? And by get away with, I mean she wakes up next to a dead body and then cleans up after. You don't do that if you're innocent. You don't generally clean up evidence if you're innocent. But it was a very well run series, very well done altogether. I thought that her friend Annie as a lawyer, not 100% believable as a lawyer. This is not a show that you'll enjoy if you're into the really, accurate forensic stuff. I don't think this is the show for you. I watch Flash, so I'm used to stuff that's not accurate in terms of forensics and police investigations. You're like, man, they would totally arrest that guy. But yeah, by all means, don't bother. There was a lot of that in this, where the FBI at least would have held on to her. They're like, well, we got to hold on to Cassie or something. So she commits this murder, and then Alex is in her brain after that. I thought what was interesting was that the first time she has a vision in her head of being back in that room with Alex, that he's got his neck slit and there's blood everywhere. The next time you see him, his neck's slit, there's no blood. The next time you see him, he's up out of bed, there's no cut anymore. So the character of Alex's memory in her mind becomes a very active character, and he's there through the whole season. And what's fascinating to me is it is this idea that she has of who he was, which is not accurate to who he actually was. So it's this idealized version of Alex in her brain, when in reality, Alex was kind of a little bit dirtier in his real life than what she thought. And he had some people that all they wanted him dead, and it worked. But there are some things in this too that will drive people nuts. If you want to watch a character make smart decisions, while she's a smart character, she's well written, Cassie makes really, really, really dumb decisions. And she makes them regularly. And there were at least, I want to say, 3 times in this series where I was mumbling, okay, realistically, she's dead right now. If you're dealing with people that are criminals and they're all, they're connected and they don't mind murdering people if they have to, she's dead in these scenarios. And when Annie called in the favor, I thought they let Annie off the hook relatively easily. I know Annie gets fired. I know Annie loses her job. But Annie probably would have been dead in that scenario as well. Sort of like when they ran over Max, right? Well, they'd go finish the job at some point. So I thought that was the one thing that kind of bothered me, was that I thought for portraying this sort of an organized crime family that they were, they really kind of took the teeth out of it. Because if they didn't, Cassie dies in, say, episode 2 out of 8, and then you're left with 6 episodes of nothing. So you kind of have to suspend your disbelief, which was tough for me at times. There were points too where I was saying out loud while I was watching, "What are you doing? Get out of there! Why are you like?" When she goes to Alex's funeral, I'm like, "Why are you still there? Why? Why hasn't anybody kicked her out? Why is she still there?" And then at the end, when the other flight attendant's like, "I'm CIA," I was like, "No, you're not." And I'm the funny thing is, of course, I'm rewatching it with my wife. I started last night. We watched the first episode together. My wife enjoyed it. I don't know how much she'll enjoy the entire series, but I think she'll enjoy it overall. I wanted to watch the whole series to make sure it doesn't end on this massive down note because she doesn't handle that very well. I don't mind when a movie ends on a down note, but for her it's like, well, why did I spend all that time watching it? Why didn't you warn me? So I try to avoid stuff that ends on that down note, um, which I can understand is 2020, so you don't want to end on a down note. But yeah, for me, Cassie so many times and Annie so many times and Max, and there were things that I was kind of on the fence about. I will say this: Miranda needs her own series. Once Miranda actually talks to Cassie and they actually have scenes together, I was like, okay, their chemistry together is fantastic. It's great. These two need to be in other shows together. This needs to be a thing. They were absolutely great. And she was actually, and it's the same actress that played Missy in Doctor Who. She was full Missy. When they were together, I was like, okay, so she's being Missy. This is great, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed Missy on Doctor Who very much so. As much as the whole idea, oh, it's a female version of the Master. This is so stupid. No, it was great. The reveal of that was great. Her character was great. She makes it work. She can make almost anything work. I was reading an interview with her where I kind of felt bad for her. She said she realized that her greatest asset as an actress was that she was scary looking. And so she could play villains because she's scary looking. And I thought, well, she's not scary looking. And then I thought about it and I thought, well, yeah, no, the eyes. And when she smiles, she kind of looks like she wants you to be murdered. So, okay, all right, yeah, all right, sure. And she's right. This is definitely something she can do. She can pull this off. And yet, there are moments in this too where she's kind of vulnerable and you buy it. So it's not like when somebody's a villain and you go, well, now they're acting vulnerable. I don't, but they're not. No, you buy it here. So when she's on the run, you get it. Now, my problem with it is 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 Felix slash Buckley. I don't know where to start with what I find wrong with this, and I know he's supposed to be the big villain, right? The big thing is he's the killer. Why? Why did they there's so there's so many times in this where I'm like, okay, like I'm looking back at it now. I'm thinking, well, why wouldn't he kill her there? Why wouldn't he kill her? Like, and I know they throw in this, oh, he likes her because she's messed up, but he's still there's still I don't understand that there's a lot of things in this. His character is the black hole of the show. The rest of the show is really, really well done. I can't square that he's the one she's trying to avoid because when they're together, his behavior makes no sense to me. Okay, to me personally, I look at it, I don't think it makes any sense if he's going to be the bad guy. I think, I mean, you had to have kind of a reveal. It almost would have been better if, like, the dick FBI agent had been the bad guy or something, because the whole season they kind of leave it out there that he's a dick and he's you don't know if you really trust him. They could have made small alterations to that script from day one, like from that first episode, and made him the reveal as the bad guy, and it might have been kind of more rewarding in some way. But then you have the other flight attendants like, oh, I'm a CIA. No, you're not. And it's, oh, well, CIA is going to call you. No, they won't. No, that's not how being hired by the CIA works. It's just not. But I realized too when I was thinking about it, I thought, well, what are you going to do with the season two? Well, Megan, right? I don't, unless I missed something. There was no conclusion to the Megan storyline. It just sort of, she just sort of was crying and she was off, and I'm doing what I can for the family and tell your dad I love him, and it is gone. So there's definitely something there. because we know that the other flight attendant who just all of a sudden is CIA. Again, look at his behavior at the funeral and tell me how that's CIA agent at all. And it's not about getting lost in your character either, because there were points during that show where he could have reacted differently and he didn't. And it just, again, it kind of feels like, okay, we gotta have a big reveal here at the end. Okay, he's CIA, and the actual bad guy's this guy. This is the actual killer. And it was underwhelming, and yet, I will say, it was a great series. Like I said, I'm watching it again. Because I want to see if there were little plot devices in there that I missed the first time around. There may have been things I missed. So I'm going to look and see if there's anything I missed. And I don't have any problem amending this review at a later date if I feel like there's something I missed. But I'm glad there's a season 2. I'm glad that Kaylee's got her career going post Big Bang Theory. Because again, she really wasn't given that much to work with as Penny. It was kind of, well, so you drink and you're going to end up with Leonard. Is there anything else? I don't know, you sell drugs to doctors. That it? Yep. Yep, and once every second episode, we'll find a reason for you to be walking around almost naked. So we're going to figure something out. Why? I don't know. It's cold. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. So, and you know, when you're rewatching Big Bang Theory, it becomes really, really apparent that that's kind of what Penny's there for. Just, there's times in that show where she would come into Leonard's apartment and all the guys are there. And she's wearing short shorts and a t-shirt, and it doesn't look like there's anything underneath it. It's like, girls aren't going to go into some other guy's apartment. Like, they're at least going to throw on a robe. At least. It's just, you know, especially with Howard early on, it's like, what? Anyways, it's just one of those things that just when you're rewatching, you're like, yeah, I don't, this is clearly some kind of a fan service Jennifer Aniston from Friends callback, so I don't, kind of out. Just the way they frame it. Sometimes when Penny answers the door, you're like, I know why she's wearing that t-shirt. I know why this is not comfortable. But in this show, that's not a thing. In this show, she's well written. I thought it was funny, too, when she came home after the bender in the first episode, and she finds a guy in her bed, and she gives him a high five for trying. Good job. High five. And I thought that was really funny. Because she doesn't have time for fooling around. But, hey, kudos for the effort, and I'm out of here. So, looking forward to season 2. Like I said, if you're looking for a good show to watch, and you don't mind that I've already done the spoilers, because I warned you, then by all means watch it. It's really quite good, and if you're of the mind that, well, she's not a very good actress, she is. By the end of this series, that character really evolves. Unlike Penny on the Big Bang Theory, on this show, she understands she's an alcoholic, and by the end of the series, well, by the end of season 1, right? By the end of season 1, she's starting to figure out that she needs to get that under control. And she's made the decision to stop drinking. So that's a benefit. That's actual character arc, which Penny never really had. So she has to be grateful for that, right? All right. If you watched The Flight Attendant, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of it. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you again soon.